Hi there, it is Father Phil, me, and we are here for PJ Prayers. We are at St. Mark's Church in Southborough, and it is really great to have you here with us this evening. This is going to be our last PJ Prayers together. It's getting closer to the end of the school year, and kids are getting on, and also we're moving into the direction of having the vaccine all taken care of, which is why we started this in the first place. So, because of all of that, this is going to be our last time together, and it's our last chapter in the Winnie the Pooh book that we have been reading. Winnie the Pooh, this is a big collection of books, and this is chapter 10, in which Christopher Robin gives Pooh a party, and we say goodbye, fittingly enough. So here we are. One day, when the sun had come back over the forest, bringing with it the scent of May, and all the streams of the forest were tinkling happily to find themselves their own pretty shape again, and the little pools lay dreaming of the life they had seen and the big things they had done, and in the warmth of the quiet of the forest, the cuckoo was trying over his voice carefully and listening to see if he liked it, and wood pigeons were complaining gently to themselves in their lazy, comfortable way that it was the other fellow's fault. But it didn't matter very much. On such a day as this, Christopher Robin whistled in a special way he had. An owl came flying out of the 100-acre wood to see what it was he wanted. Owl, said Christopher Robin, I'm going to give a party. You are, said Owl. And there's just one little picture on this page right there. Pooh and Piglet. It is to be a special sort of party, Christopher Robin said, because it's because of what Pooh did when he did what he did to save Piglet from the flood. Oh, that's what it's for, is it? said Owl. Yes. So will you tell Pooh as quickly as you can and all the others, because it will be tomorrow. Oh, it will it? said Owl, still being as helpful as possible. So will you go and tell them, Owl? Owl tried to think of something very wise to say, but he couldn't. So he flew off to tell the others, and the first person he told was Pooh. Pooh, he said, Christopher Robin is giving you a party. Oh, said Pooh. And then seeing that Owl expected him to say something else, he said, will there be those little cake things with pink sugar icing? Owl felt that it was rather beneath him to talk about little cake things with pink sugar icing, so he told Pooh exactly what Christopher Robin had said and flew off to Eeyore. A party for me, thought Pooh to himself. How grand! And he began to wonder if all the other animals would know that it was a special Pooh party, and if Christopher Robin had told them about the floating bear and the brain of Pooh, and all the wonderful ships that he had invented and sailed on, and he began to think how awful it would be if everyone had forgotten about it, and nobody quite knew what the party was for. And the more he thought like this, the more the party got muddled in his mind, like a dream when nothing goes right. Here's Christopher Robin speaking to Owl. It was like a dream, he said, when nothing goes right. And the dream began to sing itself over in his head until it became a sort of song. It was an anxious Pooh song. 3 cheers for Pooh. For who? For Pooh. Why, what did he do? I thought you knew. He saved his friend from a wedding. 3 cheers for Bear. For where? For Bear. He couldn't swim, but he rescued him. He rescued who? Oh, listen, do. I'm talking of Pooh. Of who? Of Pooh. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. Well, Pooh was a bear of enormous brain. Just say it again. Of enormous brain. Of enormous what? Well, he ate a lot, and I don't know if he could swim or not, but he managed to float on a sort of a boat. On a sort of a what? Well, a sort of a pot. So now let's give him 3 hearty cheers. So now let's give him 3 hearty witches, and hope he'll be with us for years and years, and grow in health and wisdom and riches. 3 cheers for Pooh. For who? For Pooh. 3 cheers for Bear. For where? For Bear. 3 cheers for the wonderful Winnie the Pooh. Just tell me, somebody, what did he do? And while this was going on inside him, Owl was talking to Eeyore. And there is Pooh getting ready for his party, buffing up his ears, it looks like, with a brush. Eeyore, said Owl, Christopher Robin is giving a party. Very interesting, said Eeyore. I suppose they will be sending me down the odd bits which got trodden on. Kind and thoughtful. Not at all, don't mention it. There is an invitation for you. What's that like? An invitation. Yes, I heard you. Who dropped it? This isn't anything to eat. It's asking you to the party tomorrow. Eeyore shook his head slowly. You mean Piglet. The little fellow with the excited ears. That's Piglet. I'll tell him. No, no, said Owl, getting quite fussy. It's you. Are you sure? Of course I'm sure. Christopher Robin said all of them. Tell all of them. All of them except Eeyore. All of them, said Owl sulkily. Ah, said Eeyore. A mistake, no doubt. But still I shall come. Only don't blame me if it rains. There is a picture of Eeyore, Owl, and Piglet. It didn't rain. Christopher Robin had made a long table out of some long pieces of wood, and they all sat around it. Christopher Robin sat at one end, and Pooh sat at the other, and between them, on one side, were Owl and Eeyore and Piglet, and between them on the other side were Rabbit and Roo and Kanga. And all Rabbit's friends and relations spread themselves about on the grass and waited hopefully in case anybody spoke to them, or someone dropped something, or asked them the time. It was the very first party to which Roo had ever been, and he was very excited. As soon as ever they had sat down, he began to talk. Hello, Pooh, he squeaked. Hello, Roo, said Pooh. Roo jumped up and down in his seat for a little while and then began again. Hello, Piglet, he squeaked. Piglet waved a paw at him, being too busy to say anything. Hello, Eeyore, said Roo. Eeyore nodded gloomily at him. It will rain soon. You see if it doesn't, he said. Roo looked to see if it didn't, and it didn't. So he said, Hello, Owl, and Owl said, Hello, my little fellow, in a kindly way, and went on telling Christopher Robin about an accident which had nearly happened to a friend of his, whom Christopher Robin didn't know. And Kanga said to Roo, Drink up your milk first, dear, and talk afterwards. So Roo, who was drinking his milk, tried to say that he could do both at once, and had to be patted on the back and dried for quite a long time afterwards. There's Kanga and Roo. When they had all nearly eaten enough, Christopher Robin banged on the table with his spoon, and everyone stopped talking and was very silent, except Roo, who was just finishing a loud attack of the hiccups and was trying to look as if it was one of Rabbit's relations. This party, said Christopher Robin, is a party because of what someone did, and we all know who it was. And it's his party because of what he did, and I've got a present for him, and here it is. Then he felt about a little and whispered, Where is it? While he was looking, Eeyore coughed in an impressive way and began to speak. Friends, he said, including oddments, it is a great pleasure, or perhaps I had better say, it has been a pleasure so far to see you at my party. What I did was nothing. Any of you, except Rabbit and Owl and Kanga, would have done the same. Oh, and Pooh. My remarks do not, of course, apply to Piglet and Roo, because they are too small. Any of you would have done the same. But it just happened to be me. It was not, I need hardly say, with an idea of getting what Christopher Robin is looking for now. And he put his front leg to his mouth and said in a loud whisper, Try under the table. that I did what I did. But because I feel that we should all do what we can to help, I feel that we should all. Ah! Said Rue accidentally. Rue dear, said Tango reproachfully. Was it me? Asked Rue, a little surprised. What's Eeyore talking about? Piglet whispered to Pooh. I don't know, said Pooh rather dolefully. I thought this was your party. I thought it was once, and I suppose it isn't. There they all are, gathered together for the party. I'd sooner it was yours than Eeyore's, said Piglet. So would I, said Pooh. Huh? Said Roo again. As I was saying, said Eeyore loudly and sternly, as I was saying when I was interrupted by various loud sounds, I feel that... Here it is, cried Christopher Robin excitedly. Pass it down to silly old Pooh. It's for Pooh. For Pooh? Said Eeyore. Of course it is. The best bear in all the world. I might have known, said Eeyore. After all, one can't complain. I have my friends. Somebody spoke to me only yesterday. And was it last week or the week before that rabbit bumped into me and said, bother? The social round, always something going on. Nobody was listening, for they were all saying, open it, Pooh. What is it, Pooh? I know what it is. No, you don't. And other helpful remarks of this sort. And of course, Pooh was opening it as quickly as ever he could, but without cutting the string, because you never know when a bit of string might be useful. At last, it was undone. When Pooh saw what it was, he nearly fell down. He was so pleased. It was a special pencil case. There were pencils marked B for bear, and pencils marked HB for helping bear, and pencils marked BB for brave bear. There was a knife for sharpening the pencils, and an Indian rubber for rubbing out anything which you had spelt wrong, and a ruler for ruling lines for the words to walk on, in inches marked on the ruler in case you wanted to know how many inches anything was, and blue pencils, and red pencils, and green pencils for saying special things in blue and red and green. And all these lovely things were in little pockets of their own in a special case, which shut with a click when you clicked it, and they were all for Pooh. Oh, said Pooh. Oh, Pooh, said everyone else except Eeyore. Thank you, growled Pooh. But Eeyore was saying to himself, this writing business, pencils and whatnot, overrated if you ask me. Silly stuff, nothing in it. Later on, when they all had said goodbye and thank you to Christopher Robin, Pooh and Piglet walked home thoughtfully together in the golden evening, and for a long time they were silent. When you wake up in the morning, Pooh, said Piglet at last, what's the first thing you say to yourself? What's for breakfast? Said Pooh. What do you say, Piglet? I say, I wonder what's going to happen exciting today, said Piglet. Pooh nodded thoughtfully. It's the same thing, he said. And what did happen? Asked Christopher Robin. When? I said. The next morning. I don't know. Could you think and tell me and Pooh sometime? If you wanted it very much, I said. Pooh does, said Christopher Robin. He gave a deep sigh, picked his bear up by the leg, and walked off to the door, trailing Winnie the Pooh behind him. At the door, he turned and said, Are you coming to see me have my bath? I might, I said. Was Pooh's pencil case any better than mine? It was just about the same, I said. He nodded and went out. and in a moment I heard Winnie the Pooh, bump, 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 going up the stairs behind him. That is the end of our book and our chapter from Winnie the Pooh. And our Bible story tonight is God Sends Help. This is the story of Pentecost, which is today, actually, this story of Pentecost. So this is from the Bible, from Acts. God sends help. Jesus' friends and helpers huddled together in a stuffy upstairs room. Even though it was sunny outside, the shutters were closed and the doors were locked. Wait in Jerusalem, Jesus had told them. I am going to send you a special present. God's power is going to come into you. God's Holy Spirit is coming. So here they were, waiting. Actually, mostly what they were doing was just being scared and hiding. You can't blame them. Their best friend had left. The important people and leaders were after them, and Jesus had given them a job they didn't know how to do yet. As they waited, they were praying and remembering how, from the beginning, God had been working out his secret rescue plan. And suddenly, a strong wind filled the little room, whistling through the walls, rustling the straw on the floor, and there, on everyone's head, shining in the gloom, were flickering flames, fire that didn't hurt or burn. And something more. Inside, in their hearts, they felt a strange heat, almost as if all the coldness and hardness were melting away, as if their broken hearts were being mended, and God was giving them brand new hearts, hearts that could work properly. How it happened, they didn't know, but they knew God's power had struck their hearts ablaze, and Jesus himself was coming to live inside them. They had seen Jesus go away, but now he was closer than he had ever been, inside their hearts. And this time, nothing could ever separate them. Jesus would always be there, with them, loving them, whispering the promise that would get rid of the poison and the terrible lie and the sickness in their hearts. God's wonderful promise to them, you are my child, and I love you. Make your home in me as I make my home in you, Jesus had said. Could it be heaven was coming into their hearts? They then threw open the shutters, and sunlight flooded their room as love had flooded their hearts. And the little room was filled with happy noises, dancing feet, singing, laughing. And they unlocked the door and ran out into the streets as if they had never been afraid. And Peter spoke in a loud voice so everyone could hear. Jesus died for you, he said, because he loves you, but God made him alive again, and he has rescued you. People stopped and listened. The words sank down deep into their hearts and worked like a medicine that makes you well, like an antidote, like a kiss that wakes you from a deep sleep. Stop running away from God, Peter said. Run to God instead, so God can love you and make you free. And Peter told them the wonderful story of God's love, God's never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love, how Jesus had come and all that had happened. There were lots of people from faraway countries in Jerusalem that day. They couldn't speak the same languages, but as they listened to Peter, everyone could understand what he was saying in their own languages. Many people believed and became Jesus' new friends and helpers, and the wonderful news of Jesus spread like sparks from a fire to villages and towns and cities. Every day, more and more people believed. And so it was that the family of God's children, God's special people, grew. One man was watching this. I'll stop it, said Paul. But this was God's plan, and nothing in all the world would be ever able to stop it. And that is the end of our Bible story today. And that, friends, is the end of our time together. So it is time to do our PJ prayers one last time together. I hope that you will join in with me. These are the prayers that we've been saying ever since we started this more than a year ago doing PJ prayers. So I hope you'll join in with me this evening. Guide us waking, O Lord, and guard us sleeping, that awake we may watch with Christ, and asleep we may rest in peace. Lord, you now have set your servant free to go in peace as you have promised. For these eyes of mine have seen the Savior, whom you have prepared for all the world to see, a light to enlighten the nations, and the glory of your people Israel. Guide us waking, O Lord, and guard us sleeping, that awake we may watch with Christ, and asleep we may rest in peace. And now making the sign of the cross on your foreheads, say, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and give you peace and joy and love and hope. And tonight we pray the Lord be with Emily, Audrey, Timmy, and Matthew, for Joey and my other friend Joey, who's sometimes on, for Kaylin and Sean, who are sometimes watching, for Vivi and her brother Andrew, for my other friend Caitlin, who sometimes watches too, and all those other kids out here. Pray that the Lord would be with you tonight and always. And now, friends, one last time, it's time to probably start to get ready for bed, especially if you have school in the morning. So if you haven't done so already, right, you got to brush your teeth and make sure you still wash your hands really well, and then give hugs to everyone that you live with and let them know how much you love them. It's been great reading with you this past year, and I look forward to seeing you soon. God bless. Bye-bye.